I don't want to stage the art. So, Amelia is handling the live stream. So
it's live now.
But hey, that's okay. That's WH. I'm just going to raise my voice so they can all hear me. And you can hear me. I can hear me with my talking voice. But anyways, I'd like to welcome you all tonight and start off by saying that StFX Art Gallery and StFX University is located in Newfoundland, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mulroney Hall. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which the Mi'kmaq, Qalipu, Nalisi, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with the surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq, Qalipu, Nalisi title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. I'm grateful to be in these beautiful words. So I'd like to welcome you tonight to this event, the Artist Talk, to be given by Nancy White. Thank you for those of you who come in person, and I'd like to extend a welcome to those watching on Facebook, although I have no idea how many. I'm sure it's many. Nelson White's portrait paintings document and celebrate Tukien, Awaken,
Can you speak up?
Extended.
Can't hear.
They can't hear. Maps an extended community of artists, creatives, activists, and leaders who defy simple and singular understandings of contemporary Indigenous living. The exhibition title is a Mi'kmaq word meaning awaken, which evokes a collective raising of consciousness, portraying prominent and accomplished Indigenous people.
Okay. We still can't hear.
They can't hear?
They can't hear. Try on the mic.
I'm glad they let me know. I hope that sounds better and that it's audible for people.
Just waiting to see if anyone says anything.
Who would have thought in an art gallery you'd have these issues? It's every time it's new.
Better.
I get thumbs up. Yay! Thank you for that. And I'd like to thank my intern, Amelia Smith, for fielding that observation. The portraits portray prominent and accomplished Indigenous people with bright colors, a pop-style art combined with traditional motifs and lush brushwork. White's very contemporary paintings undermine one-dimensional understandings of Mi'kmaq people and their lived realities. His paintings are particularly resonant in Newfoundland and Labrador, where joining Confederation was predicated on the erasure of Indigenous personhood. This exhibition, in case you don't know, is a national touring one. It's co-curated by Pam Went and Matthew Hills. It's organized and circulated by the Confederation Center Art Gallery and Grenfell Art Gallery of Memorial University of Newfoundland, with the generous support of the Canada Council for the Arts and Arts Now. I'm going to edit that out. Maybe. This exhibition and event here is generously sponsored by the Frank McKenna Center for Leadership and the Brian Mulroney Institute for Government. So just a few things that I want to let you know. One is our winter exhibitions are well underway in the planning phases, and what those exhibitions are will be announced in the next couple of weeks. And I also want to announce the fact that I'm working with my intern, my curatorial intern, Amelia Smith, and we're preparing for the StFX Art Gallery's 50th anniversary, which takes place in the academic year of 2026-27. Our plans are to put together a questionnaire asking people, be they students, staff, faculty, or members of the surrounding communities, what would you like to see happen in the gallery in that particular year? So that should be coming out, that questionnaire, in the next couple weeks. And if you're not on our mailing list, our email list, you can can sign up at the back there. There's a sheet. And if you have any questions or anyone on Facebook wants to know, you can email me your email address. I'm Dr. Andrea, the Director Curator here, and my email is aterry, T-E-R-Y, @stfx.ca. Core funding for the StFX Art Gallery is provided by the Office of the Academic Vice President and Provost and by the Department of Canadian Heritage. And I'd like to thank both those offices for their vital and sustained support of arts and culture here at StFX. And that said, I'd like to turn the floor over to Dr. Amanda Cockshutt, who will introduce the artist.
Yeah. Yeah. You can edit.
Josie. So, Nelson was born on the west coast of Newfoundland in the community of Black Bay. Nelson Wade is a member of the Qalipu Mi'kmaq First Nation band. He attended the visual arts program at the former Bay St. George Community College before graduating from the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design. His paintings are included in public and private collections across North America, including the provincial art collection.
Can you raise the microphone up?
Yeah. Newfoundland and Labrador, and the Smithsonian's National Museum of the American Indian. His father, Colin White, is a respected elder, past elder in residence at Grenfell Campus, and a significant Indigenous activist who was inducted into the Order of Canada as well as the Order of Newfoundland in recognition of his lifetime championing the rights of Mi'kmaq in Newfoundland and Labrador. Wow.
Hi, thanks for coming out. Can everybody hear this now on the hotel, or should I change the
Maybe bring it up higher just to be safe.
there?
Should be. I can always adjust the volume as well if need be.
Thank you all for thank you for leaving your houses, which is something I'm here to do. My name is Nelson White. I'm from Flat Bay, Newfoundland. I'm a representational painter, which means I paint things that look like things. I'm a figurative painter, which means I paint people. And I'm also an Indigenous painter. I'll get into that shortly. Notice I said painter. I refer to myself as a painter as opposed to an artist. I find a lot of times if people come into art and say they're going to make art with a capital A, they automatically become pretentious. They become sort of shit, and we all know. We've all seen movies, we've all seen TV shows, we've all read books where the author thought he was creating great art. So what I do is I paint. I apply a pigment to canvas, and I put it out into the world. If you choose to call it art, great, I'm flattered, but I don't create with the intent of creating art. I think that's a big, heavy word, and I'm trying to stay away from that. So I'm a painter. That's basically what I do. I'm a painter. Secondly, I call myself an artist who's Indigenous as opposed to an Indigenous artist. A lot of times when people start talking about Indigenous art, they go down this rabbit hole of people like Nova Morso and Daphne Auger, and these are wonderful artists. I love their work. They're our ancestors. They're where I get my inspiration. But people think of it as one school, one style, like the Woodbury style and Thunderbirds and that sort of thing. That's a school, the same as abstract expressionism is a school, impressionism is a school, Dada is a school. That's a school of art. Woodbury is a style. Indigenous art is art of Indigenous people. I'm an Indigenous man in painting Indigenous subjects. It's Indigenous art. So I'm very careful about that term. So that when people start talking about Indigenous art, I've often had people tell me my work doesn't look Indigenous enough. I sort of go, how? What are you expecting? So when we talk about Indigenous art, there isn't a history of portraiture. There isn't a whole lot of portraiture out there, except for satellite images of global standards. That seems to be what exists in the world. We talk about Native American or Indigenous culture, or you talk about formalized, just formalized archaeological studies or anything else. That's not the people. These are the people over there. So I want to. People are represented that Indigenous people don't only exist on powwow weekend, that we don't only appear regalia. We're not a people of the past. We're not a culture that's extinct, that are thought of as this nice little side thing that you see at let's say powwows, or called out for ceremonies, or called out for different things. These are the people that exist in my. And I think it's important to show those people, I don't want to say glory, but show them the reality. So the basis for the show comes from that. It comes from this idea that we are a modern, contemporary, interesting people. I've had people come to me with this show. The show's, as Andrea said, has been touring. This is the 4th gallery of 5 that it's going to. But I've had people come to me and sort of say, I didn't know there were Indigenous neurosurgeons, or I didn't know there was Indigenous fashion designers. And my response has always been, how are you raised? What in your upbringing has made you think that there couldn't be Indigenous doctors, there couldn't be Indigenous fashion designers, there couldn't be Indigenous artists, or firefighters, or policemen? Like, that's your problem, that's not mine. So the essence of this show is, again, about people and about people from wider communities. It began as a conversation with Matthew Hill, who's the curator of the Grenfell Art Gallery. I was doing a residency at the Rooms, the provincial gallery in Newfoundland, and Matthew came to me about doing a show. At the same time, Pat went from the Federation Center also was about doing the show. So that's how it became a bigger show, and a touring show, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the first painting of the show was Chad Joe. He's a young man from Pond River. I wanted to paint him in a position of power, a position of strength, and I wanted to show him, the name of the painting is Future is Mine, because the future is his. He can do anything he wants. And for a long time, in the Indigenous community, you couldn't do anything you wanted. There was very, very limits on what you could do, and what you could achieve, and what you could. And from there, the rest of the people have achieved. The rest of these people have achieved and grown and excelled. Also, you notice the difference with Chad is Chad's actually in a place. When I did that painting, that's when I determined I was going to change up the backgrounds. I was going to change up what I did, just because I didn't like the hard edges and I didn't like the lines and the linear look of that painting. So I changed up how the paintings were portrayed. You'll see that most of them have a floral background. The reason for that is, first of all, I didn't want them in a place unless the place was essential for telling the story. Like painting of my friend Joe here, she's just sitting in a car, she's a musician, a great musician. She's traveled, I've driven her occasionally, and every time she gets in the car, she's got a baby, she falls asleep. So it was important for her to be in the car and be asleep, because that's how I see her, and that's how I know her. The rest of them has this full background because I didn't want them to be a place. I didn't want the story to be about where they are. I want the story to be about them. The reason the floral backgrounds are there, it's organic, it's soft, it's nature. I wanted to bring nature into it without it being too harsh or too striking. But again, there's a bit of push and pull there. The intent of the background and pull forward. It's a bit of a trick of the eye. That's art technical speak. How the portraits were done, for the most part, was I spent time with each model. We had discussions about how they wanted to be portrayed, or I came to it with a set idea, sort of. DJ Qalipu over here, I sort of wanted her to just show her as a strong, powerful woman. She's a DJ out of BC. I just wanted to show her beauty and her strength. So I came to a lot of them with particular ideas, but some of them grew organically. The painting way over in the corner here, I don't want to be trying Facebook bad here. A painting who's a curator at Art Gallery of Scotia. That's probably the most collaborative painting here because I had a set set up in mind, and then Aiden sort of said, I want to show off my tattoo, and I did some stitching on the back of my shirt, and I want to see that, and so it was much more collaborative, where, so it was sort of a piece of more interactive than most of the other models. The most political piece in the show is the painting of Jordan Bennett. Jordan is sitting on Joey Smallwood's chair. There was a show of the rooms again in St. John's, and front center of the show was Joey Smallwood's chair that he sat on in the House of Assembly. For those of you who don't know and understand the history of Newfoundland, when Newfoundland joined the Federation, Joey said, there's no Indians. The Beothits are all dead, there's no Native people in Newfoundland. It was more of it was just something more just to stop another level of bureaucracy to negotiate for Confederation. Because they would have negotiate treaties, you would have negotiate amendments. So it was just easier for Joey to say, there's none here, we're done. And forgot about it. So my dad was part of the movement leading the recognition of Indigenous rights back in the province. And it was saying, hey, we exist and we're here. So the theme behind that painting is Jordan sitting on Joey's chair. Not only over here, we're excelling. Jordan is a world-renowned visual artist. He's won the Sobeys Prize. He's shown in New York and all over the world. And so not only are we here, we're excelling and doing some pretty amazing things. So that's sort of the political statement here. Other artworks just evolve out of being. The painting of my friend Melissa with her dog. I was at an art conference in Portland, and a bunch of artists were sharing a house, and they came over, we were hanging out, and there was a leopard skin couch. There was a leopard skin couch, and my friend Melissa was walking around with her dog Minnie in a snuggly, and it was sort of like, that has to be a painting. That has to. How could it not be a painting? So now imposed that this usually have to capture some. So again, it goes back to that point of portraiture is not this flat, static enclave of old white men. It is alive and breathing. In fact, I actually don't call it work portraiture. I tend to call it figurative, just because portraiture, you think of some old guy doing this in 3/4 or something, and that's not what I want to do. I want to show people who are talented and smart and interactive. Also, one of the things about my work, and as I said earlier, I consider myself a painter as opposed to an artist. I do these paintings and I put them out in the world, and then I'm out of the equation. I want the relationship then to be between the viewer and the artwork. So you as a viewer to look at the art and sort of make your own interpretations, tell your own story, try to figure out who these people are, or take some realization about who these people are. My work is done once it leaves my studio. The story then becomes between the viewer and the artwork. Use my train of thought there for a second. So excuse me. The work is meant to be bright and colorful. The work is meant to jump out at you. It's because in Mi'kmaq tradition, we use bright colors. There are pinks, there are yellows, there are blues. If you've seen quill work, you've seen some amazing colors, amazing designs. So those colors and designs, I don't want to hide from color. I think a lot of times, a lot of art tends to be dour, tends to be dark, and it doesn't need to be. I want you to like these people. I want you to enjoy their company, to be friends with them. I often say I'm one of these artists who actually doesn't care what you think of my work, but I want my models to be. I want models to be happy about how they're portrayed, happy about how they're shown to the world. I don't want to go around the room and talk about every painting, but there's a lot of family here. There's a lot of friends. My brothers, there are 2 paintings of 2 of my brothers. One is Smoke Jumper, one is in the back of the room, which I had to pull out of storage because there wasn't enough room. And then I found my brother, Greg, who's in the painting, was coming tonight, so I had to. I couldn't wait. We couldn't leave in storage. My nephew is in one of the paintings, and then these are friends. This is my community, so these are interesting. I'm lucky that I have a good community and a good network of friends, but these are people that exist in the world. These are not some foreign entity. These are people that are out there and that are proud of their Indigenous heritage and proud of who they are, but also doing some amazing things. I don't want to babble on too long. I really want to thank the StFX. I want to thank Andrea. I want to thank our tech for having me here tonight. It's an honor to be in this room. It's an honor to share the space with you.